came into Egypt a pharaoh who did not know.
I beg your pardon, is that a proverb?
No, a prophecy. The rich have been doing it to the poor since the beginning of time. The only difference between the pyramids and the Empire State Building is the Egyptians didn't allow unions. I know what this guy's all about. Greed. He don't give a damn about Blue Star or the unions. He's in and out for the buck, and he don't take prisoners.
At 5:06, here we are. It is June 16th, 2022. Bitcoin is currently sitting at 20,711. While I did see the price dip down about this far earlier today, it rose up about $1,000, maybe even $2,000, because I wasn't watching it all day. But it dropped back down to this point right now because I just took this photo at 5 o'clock, 5:06, it's 5:07 now. And Bitcoin's at 20,711, while Ethereum is sitting at 1,097. Here I am thinking about all of the malinvestment that has been put in cryptocurrency. Here I am thinking about all the scams, all the Ponzi schemes associated with cryptocurrency. Here I am thinking about all the people who I know who were bragging to me about their portfolios. Now, never mind when I pull out my portfolios and I show them what my portfolios look like on my cell phone, all of a sudden they go quiet. But all that bragging has gone away. Now, granted, now somebody's going to try to point out that now that the Fed has raised interest rates, just like I pointed out in my video yesterday, that the entire market is down. What's funny is, in my portfolios, oil is still holding where it was. So the people who know about all of the oil companies I've purchased can easily see the prices are holding still. In fact, I just got gas a little while ago. It was $5.25. $5.25 per gallon premium. So no, the oil companies are holding steady. And in my mind, I'm going to wait until July, probably about July, the 4th of July, the Independence weekend. And that's when I believe I'm going to probably cash out a large percent of oil stocks, because at that point, I believe we'll have hit peak summer oil use. Now, granted, I could wait and see what happens, but at that point, I really believe that's, for me, that's where I want to cash out. But as for this crypto, everything related to crypto, all of it is in the toilet. I have a question. Where is Nayib Bukele? El Salvador's Bitcoin stash value has dropped considerably to 52.4 million as this so-called crypto winter sets in. Now, I remember specifically hearing people ranting and raving, oh, wow, look, El Salvador has gotten into Bitcoin. Now that El Salvador is into Bitcoin, Bitcoin prices are going to the moon. They're going to Jupiter. They're going to Saturn. They're going to Pluto. I remember myself specifically saying, no, they're not. Now, first of all, a country like El Salvador, whose own currency is basically worthless, is suddenly going to make everything right by betting on Bitcoin? No, absolutely not. First of all, I will say this. If I was in charge of El Salvador's treasury, I would have put their money on oil stocks. And I would have probably netted them some type of return, according to my own returns, and according to what TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab says about my own returns. I believe I could have taken El Salvador's money and I could have netted them thousands of percent, and by thousands, I mean over 3,000% returns. My SM oil alone is over 2,000%. My SLCA alone is over 1,000%, because I bought when it was in the negative. So obviously there was nowhere to go but up. But these people, no, I shouldn't say these people. Nayib Bukele took El Salvador's money and gambled it on a Ponzi scheme. He literally put his entire country on a goddamn roulette table. his entire country. What are they to say right now that Bitcoin's at 20,000? Now, mind you, he got in at 55,000 and then bought the dip at 50,000, promising that it was going to 100,000. Where is naive Bukele? Now, I'm hoping that many of you remember this guy. He was the president right before President Barack Obama, George W. Bush. Now, I was searching for a picture of Bush, and then I decided to use this short video clip instead. But I hope you remember how President Bush actually suggested that Social Security be privatized midway during his presidency. Now, this came somewhere around after the Iraq invasion, when nobody was really thinking about it. And I think by that time he had been in his second term. But that was his idea. And sure enough, the Democrats did, their opposing party job of opposing everything he's basically going to say. But ultimately, they did have a point that privatizing Social Security would have been a horrendous mistake. Social Security, for those of you who don't know and you rely on YouTube videos to learn shit, Social Security is basically a tax. Some people will even say Social Security is its own Ponzi scheme. 12.6% is the tax. Half of that, roughly about 6.3%, is coming from your employer. The other half of that is coming out of your paycheck. The whole point of which is that, and this is the reason why they call it a Ponzi scheme, that people who are working today are basically going to pay for not really the retirement, but for the slow drawdown of the people later on. Now, the reason why I don't want to say the word retirement is Social Security was never intended to be the sole thing you retire on. Social Security was supposed to be supplemental income. Your 401k is not supposed to be the sole thing you retire on. Your 401k and Social Security are supposed to be complementary income, and they're supposed to complement your own personal savings, and they're also supposed to complement your own personal assets. So you'll never hear anybody talk like me. I'm the only person you'll hear talk like me. You're supposed to. Now, I understand it doesn't work this way for everybody because some of y'all are undesirable. You're supposed to marry in your 20s. You're supposed to get a house. You're supposed to basically pay off the mortgage, which means that you'll have equity. And then as you get older, you're expected to say, okay, you know what? This house is too big. My kids are grown. I'm moving out of this house. I'm moving into something smaller. And as I get older, I'm going to draw down and I'm going to stop spending as much money. But that's not how we're living now. People are waiting later and later in order to have families. People aren't purchasing houses. And right now, you basically can't purchase a house. A lot of people are renting longer than ever. People are saving up money as renters if they can. However, rent has gone up so high, many of them can't save up money. The bottom line that I'm trying to get to is the fact that your Social Security is something that you absolutely rely on. The problem is you've got elements within this government that have wanted to get rid of Social Security for the longest. And George W. Bush's idea of privatizing it would have been the route through which they would have been able to fuck it up come 2008 when we had a massive financial crisis and a drop in the stock market, which would have obviously affected your savings. And basically, you would have watched it go to zero, just like these people in crypto are doing right now. Now, there's a reason why I used that clip from the movie Wall Street at the very beginning of this movie. And it's specifically because of this guy right here. And this is also the reason why I used the George W. Bush clip. George W. Bush wanted to privatize Social Security, which would have ultimately ended in disaster. Michael Saylor, who is from MicroStrategies, has been buying Bitcoin on margin, just like naive Bukele, and has been losing money, especially while we're watching Bitcoin drop through 20,000. And because Ponzi schemes like cryptocurrency require new money, he has been one of the staunchest supporters of Bitcoin who has been, he must have the most diamond hands of them all. And he's been recommending that you buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But obviously nobody's doing it because Bitcoin's dropping to 20,000 as I'm making this video. This guy is expected to receive margin calls. He was literally telling people that they should be taking out mortgages on their house to buy Bitcoin. He's been telling people that they should be putting their Social Security into Bitcoin. And he's been doing this while Bitcoin was higher than it is right now. So that means that whatever you pulled out, whatever you took out, whatever you borrowed, whatever loans you took out, right now, you'd be in the same danger he is of margin calls. Now, right now, and it's funny because my mind, I'm able to put the dots together because you see a couple of things and at first they seem uncorrelated. They seem like they're just isolated incidents. But when I'm seeing these massive movements to sucker people into manipulating their retirement funds into putting it into this shit fucking Ponzi scheme bullshit, and I'm seeing no pushback from MSNBC, Fox Business News, CNBC. I'm seeing no pushback. They allow this guy to come on to their channel and just say all these positive things about this Bitcoin and suggest that you heavily invest into this bullshit while we are literally watching it falling. It never even made it to 70,000. And now we're literally watching it falling through the 20,000 barrier right now. It might even be there right now at 528. I don't even know. And nobody stops them. Nobody says, that's a stupid fucking idea. Nobody says, but what if something happens? They just let it go. And I'm like, this is incredible. It's like and just like when Bush was in office, he made these suggestions about privatizing Social Security. The pushback was tepid. There wasn't enough people. There wasn't enough loud people. There wasn't enough screaming. There was like no shouting. There was nobody saying, that's a stupid fucking idea, and this is why. Where are those people? Where are they? Are they only on YouTube? Am I the only one? Am I the only one to literally wait until one of these big hyped up YouTubers says, oh yeah, that's a great idea, we're going to the moon? And I'm saying, no, you're not. Am I the only one there? Where are the naysayers? Where are the people to say this is bullshit and here's why? Where are they? Now, obviously, this is still a developing situation, but Michael Saylor isn't the only one who seems to be in hot water over cryptocurrency. Obviously, Nayib Bukele is as well. There are also firms, there are also hedge funds that bought their cryptocurrency on market. And let me just say this, if you're a beginning stock market investor, I will just say this one time. Maybe you should watch the movie Trading Places by Eddie Murphy, which is probably one of the greatest stock market movies ever made. But you never, ever buy on margin. What that means is that you do not borrow money to try to invest it to make it more money. Yeah, it's always possible that it could go well, but it's also always possible it could go very, very, very negative and very badly. Using credit cards to buy crypto is just stupid. Using loans, your mortgage, your retirement accounts, anything that you don't personally own as a liquid asset and using that to try to buy a speculative asset is fucking stupid. I had this argument with somebody on one of these Manosphere channel panels. All investment is speculation. You're ultimately making guesses about the future profitability of companies. You're ultimately making guesses about the future dividend payments, the future, whatever it is about these companies. You have no idea if these companies will even be around later on. You have no idea if the markets will be around later on. For example, Microsoft, McDonald's, a bunch of companies just tried to basically cancel Russia. They gave up their holdings in an entire country, which is something you almost never expect to possibly happen, but it did. And I mean, if they want to argue that Putin is the bad guy, then why are you making the people suffer? Do you really think that your sanctions are going to hurt an oil-rich company, oil-rich country? I mean, they're oil-rich. Their economy is going to succeed regardless. Your diabetes-causing, obesity-causing McDonald's, Starbucks, and all this shit coming from America that's literally making people sick. So my thing is, you have no idea where these companies, for the most part, are going to be. So basically, you're speculating on where you believe they'll be. You're betting on these companies. You're basically gambling. I mean, we'd like to believe that just because we're getting a dividend payment back, that it's not gambling, but technically it still is gambling in a way. So all I'm saying is this crypto shit, I can't wait for it to come to an end. When I'm watching it crash, I am at my happiest because I told you so. I told you this shit was going nowhere. I told you a lot of people were going to lose money. What bothers me is all the welfare checks that were put into it that these people never should have gotten in the first place. But the bottom line is, better it come to an end now than have to see more malinvestment go into this bullshit and more money get wasted later.